welcome back to another Martin's Home and Garden Houseplant of the Week. This week we are talking about the Moonshine Sansevieria, also called Moonshine Snake Plant or Mother-in-Law's Tongue. These guys are native to West Africa in the more tropical regions, and their name refers to their super silvery, beautiful, greenish leaves. They get about 2 feet tall indoors, and they are toxic to pets, so if you have little animals at home, it's probably going to be best to keep these up above the floors where your pets can't get to them, or this might not be a good option for you if you're not able to do that. It's not going to cause any detrimental things to your pets, but it can cause some stomach issues and things like that. These are, however, a really low maintenance houseplant, so if you're looking for something that you don't have to baby all the time, this is going to be a really great option for you. So if you're interested in this plant, we're going to show you a little bit of how to care for it today. The first thing we'll be talking about is lighting requirements. These guys prefer a more bright indirect light. They can tolerate lower light conditions, but they do need some sort of light source. Some people ask if they can keep them in a room with no windows. That is not going to be the best option for this plant. They do need some sort of light source, even though they tolerate lower light conditions. However, they don't want any direct sun. So no direct sun, it'll burn the leaves, but a more like shady spot in your house is going to be just fine. The next thing we'll talk about is watering for these plants. They do like to dry out completely between waterings, so it's best to err on the side of underwatering rather than overwatering. Like we said, they don't need to be babied. So just feel down the soil for 2 to 3 inches and make sure that top 2 to 3 inches is completely dry between waterings. If they do sit in water for too long, they can be prone to root rot. A good sign of root rot is the base of these stems and the leaves will become kind of mushy and brown, and they'll pull apart from the plant really easily. That probably means you have root rot. Check out your plant's roots, see if they're mushy and brown. If they are, just cut them off, give your plant some new soil, and then change your watering habits to where you're not watering your plant as much so that it can recover. If you are underwatering your plant's little tips on the ends will start getting kind of crispy and brown. So also just pay attention to the signs your plant is giving you and change your watering habits accordingly. The next thing we'll talk about is soil for these guys. They don't need to be repotted except for every 2 to 5 years. It just depends on how fast your plant is growing, what the conditions are, if it's super happy. If you keep it in a growing pot, kind of like one of these, you can see when the roots come out the bottom, that means that your plant needs a new pot and that it's outgrowing its old one. A good soil for when you do go to repot these is a succulent cactus mix. That's just really well draining and it has some sand in it. Just kind of break it up and give it more aeration. You can use a regular indoor soil. Just make sure you're adding in some perlite and other elements that'll help increase the drainage. Another way to increase drainage is to have drainage holes, like we mentioned in almost every single video we've had. Make sure your pot that you put this in has a drainage hole because they are prone to root rot. So sitting in too much water will cause root rot, therefore you need a drainage hole. We do have a video on how to pick the right pot for your plant, and that'll be linked right above me here. That video just kind of shows you how to pick the right size, the right material, and we mention the importance of drainage holes and why they're needed. The next thing we'll talk about is fungal problems for these guys. They're not so much susceptible to pests as other houseplants as they are fungal issues. They can get pests like mealybugs and spider mites, but they're not as common. But fungal issues are more common with these guys. If you get random brown spots in the middle of the leaves, that is more than likely a fungal issue. There are different types of fungal issues. You'll just have to look up pictures and see which one is yours, but most of the time they can be fixed with a simple fungicide, whatever the fungal is. This one is a good option. It's by Bonide. It's called Fungal Meal Multi-Purpose Fungicide Concentrate. You do have to mix this one. There is instructions on the back on how to mix it properly for your plant, but you would just use this in a spray bottle, spray down the infected area and the rest of the plant on the leaves, and even in the soil. Saturate the soil well because the fungus can get down in there too. So the last thing we're going to talk about is propagation. These guys are super easy and fun to propagate. They actually put off little babies once they mature. So a big plant like this will send off a little shoot that you can dig up the roots of and then cut off from the base of the plant and pot it in a new pot in some fresh soil, and you'll have a whole new snake plant. Or you can also do leaf cuttings. You can really cut off a part of the leaf kind of anywhere, but it's best to get as close to the base of the plant as possible. It's best to do it in soil. You can kind of stick the leaf cutting that you cut off down into soil a couple inches just to make sure it's sturdy. It's not going to fall over. You want to have a good couple inches down in the soil and keep that soil moist just until it gets more established roots. You can pull it out from the soil and see how the roots are growing. Just make sure to tuck it back in there. Another way to do it is water propagation. I have an example here. This is not a Moonshine Sansevieria. This is a Laurentii Sansevieria, but we're going to use him for this example. So these are leaf cuttings, and we just cut them off from anywhere on the plant. And when you do water propagation for snake plants, you don't want to fill the water up super high to where half the stem is in the water, because that will cause the leaf to rot. But you do just kind of want to keep maybe an inch of water around the base of the cutting that you have. And the roots will grow from the bottom, which I can show you here. The roots will just kind of grow from the bottom, and they are super slow growers, so it's going to take a couple months for the roots to get 2 to 3 inches long. But once they get 2 to 3 inches long, you can repot them into soil, and you'll have a whole new Sansevieria plant. I'm just going to stick these back in there. They are super easy and fun, low maintenance house plants that literally anyone can take care of. If you don't have a green thumb and you want to try houseplants, this is going to be a great beginner plant for you. But that is all for today. We do have a couple announcements. This is our last Houseplant of the Week video for 2021, and we can't wait to see you next year in 2022 in January. Martin's Home and Garden will be closed from December 25th until January 3rd, my bad. December 5th to January 3rd. We'll be back open that Monday. And on Christmas Eve this year, we are going to be open 8 to 12. So in the new year, we will be fully stocked with houseplants. So it's going to be very green and full in here and fun. So let us know in the comments what you want to see as Houseplant of the Week in the new year. And we will try to get those up for y'all. But we also have a plant swap in January. I almost forgot. We have a plant swap in January on the 15th at 10 a.m. You can sign up on our website. It's $5 a person. But we are super excited to see you guys in the new year. And thank you all for a super great 2021. We will see you next time. Bye.